you guys? It's K Simone, and joining me today is singer, songwriter, a true vocalist, and 1/3 of the group Next. RL, what's going on?
What's going on? Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Man, quarantine has been super crazy. So how did you stay afloat during quarantine? Atlanta hasn't been closed at all, but how you stay afloat.
Well, I'm in the A. Really, I'm in the A.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a hermit anyway. I don't really go anywhere. But I had bought a Peloton bike and I bought this thing called the Tonal Home Gym. So I'm straight. I used to go nowhere but my P.O. box and the gym. Now it's just the P.O. box. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
And then I bought a Tesla. So I don't even have to go to the gas station anymore. So it used to be I got to go to the gas station, I have to do this. Now it's none of that. So I'm just, it's pretty much nothing has changed. I can't say nothing, I guess because my daughter, we had to get her a tutor, stuff like that. But besides that, it gives me, I don't have to make up excuses on why I don't want to go to some event or I'm like, COVID.
There you go. COVID is stopping everything. I can't come because of COVID,
Right.
So I'm definitely with you on that. Now, first and foremost, it's amazing, and I want to start here with you because it's amazing to see the journey as RL and then still being a part of the group Next, knowing the things that you guys been through and you guys still keep it together, still came together as a brotherhood, as a unit. So one thing I definitely want to say, I know y'all going to be featured on BET Pass the Mic. Yeah, so how does that make you feel?
What I've tried to do in my latter years of being in the industry is enjoy it, because people ask me, what are your favorite memories from back in the day? I don't have any. I was so busy trying to get it and accomplish things. My only great memories are of doing things for others, like when I bought my mom a car, stuff like that.
Right.
So now I just try to enjoy and soak up every moment, especially moments like these, because I can remember doing press, like, oh, we got to do press, not understanding the magnitude of what it is. You allow me to use your platform to be heard. I didn't appreciate it like I do now when I was younger, because I was just trying to get it. So when these moments come up, like Pass the Mic, like when DJ Cassidy personally calls me, it's like, wow. And he's telling me, yeah, your record is one of my go-to jams when I spent at the White House, when I played for Oprah, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, when I did Jay-Z and Beyonce's wedding, that was one of my, I'm like, whoa. And it makes you realize.
Which record is this? Because it's so many, but which record? Wifey?
It was, I'm sure it was Wifey too, but the one that we did for Pass the Mic, and I hope I don't get in trouble, is Too Close. So,
okay.
But he was like, he just said your record. So I'm sure for like weddings, it's probably Wifey, but that's like an amazing thing for me. And growing up in Minneapolis, my mother grew up with Prince, and my cousin is Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind and Fire.
Right.
I knew I wanted anthems. I wanted to leave a legacy of records that, I don't care if it's at a barbecue, family reunion, skating rink, something, to where certain records come on and it makes you smile.
Absolutely. I was 5 when Wifey and Too Close came out.
Oh, gee, thanks, Kay, so mom, for making me feel old and decrepit. No, I'm just playing.
No, but look, I'm saying it because of this. I'm saying it just because of this reason right here. I jammed to it like it came out yesterday.
I appreciate it.
Let me tell you something. Wifey, Too Close, it made me can't wait to grow up to go to the club. Then I grew up and went to the club, and I'm like, They faked me. They got me.
It was more popping. I think when we were younger, because back then dudes even danced. I remember cats would bring a towel to the club and they freaking. And it was like routines, and all of a sudden it became, we just want to be hard and flashy. It was different back then. Like, you wanted to be fly, but
right.
You was really there to try to meet a girl. You ain't there to try to look at my new jewelry, or I'm buying bottles. I'm popular. Look at me. It was really like, oh no, look at her. Things changed. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Look, I'm telling you, I was actually, when I was jamming a Wifey yesterday, just jamming. I was just watching some stuff, and I just started jamming to it. I was like, dang, I remember wanting to pull up and be on the side of the line, and some guy pull up beside me. Hey, cutie, how you doing? Sitting in the passenger side of his.
No, wait, can I tell you something crazy?
Absolutely.
That line, when I wrote the record, really was a dig. Well, not a dig, but a response
Mm.
TLC. Because on
Oh,
the passenger
yes.
side of your bed, no, I'm basically saying no. I let my guy drive. See, people don't realize that I was putting in a little like, nah, I'm in the passenger side, but it's my car, okay? Okay,
Right.
T-Boz, it's my car.
This is my car. I let my best friend drive. You feel me?
Right.
I love it. I love it, man. You gotta love it. Oh my gosh. Look, we got so much to talk about, and I'm just so excited. This is a wonderful way to kick everything off.
Thank
Like,
you.
okay.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. Now let's talk about, the journey with Next and everything. We don't gotta go through, we all know the situation. Like I said, it's just amazing to see that you are back together because I met you when you first had Rory back in Philly for the Spring Jam. And the first thing I said to you was, "Oh, congratulations on your daughter." And that's when Next had just got off stage. Um, and my thing is, what advice would you give to groups, that are, just in general, like what advice would you give to groups that are either establishing or that are established? And, what would you say to them? Trying to get it together.
I can't really, I can speak for us and for me and for my
Absolutely.
personal, okay, number one, the first lesson I had to learn is everybody not going to be happy for you.
Right.
So I can remember, I was a major writer in the group and I would come around the guys and, your mom say stuff like, act like you ain't used to nothing. Well, what happens when you're not? So I come around with the new iced out rollie on because I was a little younger. I didn't have the same responsibilities they did, the same bills, the same overhead. So I'm like, look at this. And I'm thinking they should be happy for me. And I'm sure at first they were, but it comes a point where, egos get involved and you have to learn to manage egos. And then me being the youngest, all of a sudden they start saying, which I hate, the lead singer. And that really devalues their contributions to the group because I never looked at myself as that and I've never said that.
Right.
So managing egos and watching who's around you, because after you get a little paper and success, your circle usually should grow smaller, but it actually grows larger. Mm-hmm. So now you got cats around you and they see the relationship you have with your members, and this one might be bossing you around and this one might be talking crazy, but y'all have a certain way y'all talk to each other and y'all know that and it's love, but somebody else that hasn't been around that hasn't been privy be in your ear like, yo, you gonna let him talk to you like that? You gonna do this? So usually the issues come from, sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's business, but most of the time it's other people infiltrating that circle that don't understand the dynamics of your group. So what you have to do for all y'all in groups that are starting out, even you veteran groups, communicate. And then lastly, you look at these pop groups, the Rolling Stones can't stand each other, right? But they go get that bag because it ain't about us. You know what it's about for me? Rory. It's about Rory and Charles. Well, my son, he's grown, but it's about Rory and Charles and me providing and laying down a foundation. It's bigger than us. So when I look at other groups, and they're still dope, separate, but the collective means so much more and protect your brand. So learn from our mistakes.
Absolutely. See, I love that because, like I said, it's just amazing to see the journey that you guys went through. And then, like I said, 4 years ago, literally, I'm witnessing, history being made right before my eyes. Oh my God, Next is performing. And we were backstage just like, hey, will you be my wife?
And what's funny is we still get on each other's nerves. Sometimes we don't communicate for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, but the respect that we have for each other as men has changed because honestly, you have siblings?
Yes, I do.
You have like a little brother, little sister?
I have 2 younger brothers.
Now watch this. Now, little bro can blow up. He could be the next LeBron James, the next Quincy Jones, anything, a big doctor, whatever. But he's still a little bro. That never changes. And I have to give that to my group members. They're big brothers to me. And they've allowed me to shine. And I understand the hurt that they probably feel when people diminish their contributions. Oh, you mean this one? Or the one that always has a shirt off? He don't never sing, or he don't, not knowing how talented they really are because they let me be in the forefront. So that takes a lot of selflessness. But for me, my responsibility as a group member is to lift them up whenever I have a chance to speak positivity and give them their flowers. So everybody else that's screaming my name and looking at me as the focal point understands how big of a contribution they really have poured into me and into the group.
And I think that's truly important. I think that's truly, truly important, very big of all three of you guys, that, they've allowed you to say, all right, Ariel, go ahead and step out, do your thing. We're going to support you, and then you still show that love and show that support to them as well. And I think that is extremely important. I think it's just extremely important. So for any group that is coming together, like you said, communicate, support each other, and then let the naysayers go.
Right. And then you also have to remember, like, people have to stay in their lane. You never saw Ronnie from Belle Biv DeVoe and from New Edition try to really sing like that, like take a lead. He was like, look, I'm going to be the pretty boy, I'm going to dance, I can rap, and he can really sing. You know what I'm saying? But everybody has a role to play in this structure. Now, you can go outside of this and do like how they did with BBD, because you never really seen which one was it? One sing Ronnie? No, Ricky. You never really see him even sing in New Edition. But it was like, okay, and he did, but it wasn't like a lot of leads. Now you like, okay, we gonna go do BBD. I'm the man, baby, and that was cool. But when he got back into New Edition, or they reconnected, it wasn't. You see what I did over here? I need leads on this and this. It was like, right. I'm gonna play my position because this is what works.
Absolutely. And that's, like I said, I think that's just amazing and commendable to see. And I think people can definitely learn from your story, and then look at y'all and learn from y'all now,
Yeah.
I think because you hear about all the groups, all our major groups having these falling outs, but they come back together maybe for the bag, and then they fall right back out again. And I can honestly say that after your guys falling out, y'all made y'all, men's to each other, got back together, and we haven't heard anything else. It's just respect my brothers and respect me, and I appreciate that.
Also, you have to be okay with people saying things publicly and apologizing privately.
That part.
Because sometimes people will be looking like, yo, but they said this and said that, but I'm back here, I'm right here, so how much of that could be true if I'm right here? You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to let that ego go and handle your business and love each other regardless of the issues.
Exactly. Now, hold on. I have a question. Is it true that you was rapping before you was singing?
Yeah, I had a record deal for rapping first. Yeah.
So why we ain't getting no rapping from RL?
You know what? I always wanted to. Like, I've written, ghost written for people on the low, but truthfully, if you don't walk in the door doing both, kind of like Missy, and I love Missy, or Drake to an extent, people will be looking at you like, wait, what? Because they already think R&B cats is soft. So it's like, now all of a sudden I'm rapping, it just wouldn't work. And I respect, hip hop too much to try to come in and do something that I don't need to be doing. And I feel the same way about acting. People are like, would you act? I'd be like, yeah, but I want to be killed in like the first, second scene. I just want to take my mama to the movie and be like, Mom, right here, like 2 more seconds. See right there I go. Because there's so many people out here that's really studied at Juilliard and tried, and are really trying to be real actors. And because of what I've done in another space, I'm afforded opportunities that they're not, which that's a blessing. But you ain't gonna get me on screen looking crazy where I don't know what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I got this major role because I've had success over here. I've never wanted that.
And that's fair. That's fair. But you got a couple bars. You remember one of the first raps you rapped? Let me drop a couple bars for me.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be safe. Because my brother, he was in the streets, so I would rap about things that I was around and somewhat doing. It was just a different time. And for me, I understand that my image now is of an OG, and heck, some people know me as Rory's dad. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I try to. One day you'll hear some. I'll let you hear some. I'll see you and I'll play you something. You'll be like, wait a minute. But okay. It's
I'm
different.
Hold you to that.
I promise.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I promise.
Absolutely. You said you was better than your brother though. I know your brother was rapping. You said you could rap circles around your brother though.
Yeah, and they was doing a deal with Aftermath at one time. But it'll hurt him to admit, but little bro used to get him.
Absolutely. Now going back to what you were saying, how you said R&B singers, people think that R&B singers are soft, okay? Which I wouldn't say that. I would say y'all sensitive.
Yeah, but all artists are sensitive, even hip hop artists. For real, even athletes, because whenever you put your all into something, you're connected to it. So
Right.
when people try to tear it down or anything, it's always gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? And we just have a bigger vehicle to vent with. You know what I mean? Like say somebody cross you, you're gonna vent to your circle. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Or to certain people. And or you might even say something online, but nobody's gonna try to decipher it. They're gonna be like, yeah, girl, or blah, blah, blah. But me, they're gonna try to read deep. I could say something that the moon is blue. Oh, next about to break up. You know what I mean? That's cold word. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful. But yeah, honestly, super,
I wouldn't
super
say, but
sensitive.
I'm not saying that single, like you as a person are sensitive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the music was
No,
sensitive.
you're right. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Right. Okay.
Heck, and I'm sensitive, so nah, I'm not. I'm gonna hold that. You know what I'm saying?
I would say the music was sensitive, and it was like, you win when you make music about women, or you win in that aspect, because it's like you're admitting a vulnerability. And with that being stated, what are some things that you miss about your era, the golden era of R&B?
I miss the arrangement of songs. Now it's simpler, which is cool because people have gotten a hold of technology to make it a lot simpler to come out, which is cool. But there's no layers to music as much as before.
Right.
Um, and I miss vocals. There are some singers out there, but I mean, I miss just vocals. That's why I love when we have shows and there's concerts and then my counterparts on the show, I'm backstage or, I'm sometimes snuck in the audience with a hoodie on enjoying the performance because I love to hear people not sing but blow. You
But
know what I'm saying?
blow, yes. That
That's
goes back to the conversation I had with Darnell, and I was like, let me tell you, I miss the ad libs. I just miss the ad libs, okay? The ad
Donnell's bro is big bro. And
libs.
we from the Midwest and we working on something top secret, like incredible. I'm so excited. I'm waiting for Donnell to send me these files, but that's somebody I really respect. And to be around cats that I remember having my Walkman or my CD player with the headphones on, riding my bike, listening to, thinking one day I could do it too. He's one of those people. And he did Karma, which is a dope record. And he had me, Carl Thomas, and
Yeah.
Jacquees in the video. But that opened the door to do something else that I'm really excited about that I can't tell because I promised him I wouldn't.
All right, that's fine. That's okay.
Gonna
It's
be
okay.
incredible.
Just
I'm
know when y'all ready to make the announcement, let me know. Let
I
me
give you
know.
my word, like for real, for real. You'll know like in the next 2 weeks. Like it's
Okay.
really excited.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how you talk about other artists, let's even talk about your EP, The Letter J, right? It's just amazing how you look at other artists, but I have to ask this question to you. Do you consider yourself to be one of those legends?
No, but I honestly, somebody had posted, about classic albums, and a girl that I actually became cool with online was
Mhm.
like, they don't have any classic albums. Like, like people will try to tell you why you're not something. So
Right.
I never put that on myself. Also because I just continue to work. I want to get there. I was in a room on Clubhouse yesterday, and Jimmy Jam was in there, and
Okay.
that's like my idol. Like he's from where I'm from, right where I'm from, and I looked up to him. But for years, I had I I had beef because they had opportunity to sign us first, and they didn't.
Mm.
And for 25 years, I had beef until one day he was doing an interview. I popped in like in the comments on IG, and I was like, legend. And he was like, he took a second. He was like, yo, we did those guys a favor. Now remember, I've never known this. And he's
Right.
like, they auditioned for us and we wanted to sign them. We knew they were going to blow up, but we were a part of a terrible label situation and we didn't want to get them involved in it. Now remember, I didn't know that.
Right.
So fast forward to The Best Man, which was Tyrese, Genuine Case, and myself.
Right.
And I was the only guy in the group. And it was my first time working with them after they had denied us. Now,
Mm.
remember, I thought, okay, you thought I wasn't good enough. So I never knew he noticed me coaching the other artists that were bigger than me. That beginning part is for the brothers in the hood and the high rises. That end part, my brother, I made all that stuff up because I was going so hard to prove to them that I belong. Not to my other counterparts, but to Jimmy and Terry.
Right.
So we were in a room literally yesterday, and he was talking about Janet, because it's International Women's Month,
Yeah.
whatever. Not whatever, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, International Women's Day was yesterday. Absolutely. I'm going to save you. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm just excited. That's why I'm forgive me. He sees I'm in the room and he goes, R was like the quarterback. He's not only one of the best artists I've ever worked with, but he's a great, and this is him giving, this is, when I hear it from those guys, them is the OGs. When I hear that from them, then I feel like that one day maybe people can say I'm a legend. Do I feel like I've done legendary things? Yeah. And one day I want to be known as a legend, but I just feel like I have so much music and things, great things to offer left in me that I'll wait for that. You can give me that, 10, 15 years,
15 years, okay.
You'll see me with my cane. I won't be using it, but you'll see me with my cane. You could be like, legend.
Absolutely. So what do you think is left for you to hit that legendary status for you? Because and the reason I'm asking this, right, because I have this conversation with a lot, like what makes a person a legend? And to me, it's like, who has those classic hits? Like if something happened today or tomorrow to anybody, what song are we still going to be blasting? What song is my child's going to still be blasting, 30, 40, 50 years from now? And I was like, and I think that's what makes somebody a legend. And, when you look at Butter Love, you listen to, like, Butter Love is probably like I said, I listen to Too Close, I listen to Wifey, I listen to Butter Love, We Can't Be Friends by Deborah Cox. I remember being in middle school singing a song in the courtyard with somebody else. I'm Deborah and somebody else was you. I remember that like it was yesterday. So it's like these songs are never going to go anywhere, and I would say that's what makes you legendary in my mind. So what is it for RL?
When I don't have to introduce myself and I don't have to talk about the other things I've done, whether it be forecast for Jamie Foxx, Just in Case, or anything for Jaheim, all these other things that I've been a part of. When I don't have to go, or people don't go, oh, you did that too? Or I didn't realize you did that. Or when people know my work per se, then I can feel like, okay, cool. But the hardest thing is, because I was in a group, and I still am, we were always about the brand. So right. I was never able to promote myself in the things I was doing outside of the group because we had a rule that no one was bigger than the group.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the accolades that I probably could have gotten, I never was able to get. So now I'm like, okay, well, that means I got to write some more records because now with social media, people know who did it. So I was able to do write and co-produce Pull Up for Ty Dolla $ign and Lil Duval. Mm-hmm. We did I don't even know what they called the record. It's Jeezy and Demi Lovato with Lil Duval. We wrote and produced that on Jeezy's album, and that's supposed to be the next single. So I'm trying to get more and more records in my discography so people go, wait a minute, oh, and then they go back and reverse and look back and go, oh, I didn't know he did this as well. So I feel like if I accomplish more now, it'll make people have to look back and realize all the amazing things I was blessed to be a part of from my past. Then it'll be full circle.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I consider you to be a legend, but you know what? You're going to get where you're going. You're going to get to where you're trying to get to. That's a fact. Because, and to be honest with you, I did not know you wrote Jaheim's Anything. I didn't know you did that. I knew Next was on it.
Just in case I get home tonight.
Let me see. That was his first.
What's funny about Anything was I wrote most of the record and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to put here. So I'm gonna just go da 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 da. And so I was gonna come back, but by the time we did it, it just was stuck in my head. So we kept it. You can have anything I own. Work my fingers all the way to the bone. Da 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 da. There was supposed to be words, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna keep it like that, and it worked.
It did. That's amazing. I love hearing those stories because I think that's probably like one of the memorable parts of the song, stuff like that. So that's amazing. That is amazing. Now let's go back to the best man I can be, because I actually still want another classic to me. It's another classic. It's another classic. Now, you know, the best man is doing a series for their final, bringing the cast together for a, like the series, you know, I guess it's like a short mini series for the one last time that they're going to reunite this cast. So let's just say somebody called you and said, hey,
I've
all
already
right.
asked him. I've already asked him. The director, we be going back and forth on Twitter laughing. I'm like, I want in. What we doing? Because we've never even performed the song live all together. Like there was a time that me, Genuine, and Case had a show together, and we jumped out on G's part and we started playing around. But we've never done it. I was actually on um, Clubhouse with Ty and Tim Story, who did the video. But then the guy from the label was on there, and he was like, he mentioned an NAACP award that we didn't even know we won. Wow. So I had to hit my manager up like, yo, can you call and find out? Because I didn't get this award. Like, come on. And even Ty didn't know. He's like, wait, what? We got an NAACP award? So I would love to. I think it would be super dope. I know Ty's busy, probably somewhere in Switzerland filming an action movie or something. But right. I think that would be hot. And especially with Jimmy and Terry doing it, because I know they're back in the saddle. They just released a joint with Babyface. So I would love to.
I would love it. I would love a remake. Now, let's just say this. If you know how there are a lot of new artists who are remaking and sampling a lot of 90s, early 2000 records. So let's just say somebody said, hey, you know what? We want to do the remake for The Best Man I Can Be. What 4 people would you see on that record?
Ooh, that's hard because I wouldn't look for cats that sound like any of us. And there's so many great new artists. I mean, I love Lucky Day, but I couldn't see him being with other artists per se. He would have to do it by himself.
Got it.
I can't really say because there are a lot of great artists out there that aren't really heard because it's so oversaturated.
Yes. I agree.
Tank is our age, really. He's just he should have blown up way sooner, but he was dealing with label issues, so he was kind of shelved for a minute, which was almost a blessing in disguise because he was in the lab like a mad scientist, and all of a sudden he came out with superpowers. So it just changed. It's hard to say. Again, if we were gonna do another record, I'd rather just be us because I don't think that anyone else could capture what we did. Not saying it's better or worse than what anybody else would do. I just know that we're all a little more seasoned. Yeah. I want to be blown. I want to be blown on another Jimmy and Terry track. I think
I agree. I agree. And I think y'all, hopefully that, you know, that whole thing comes together because I would love to see a remake, or I would just like to see y'all perform it. Like you said, y'all haven't performed it. I've never seen you guys perform it live. So
it's like Deborah Cox. We've only did that record one time. It was at the Lady of Soul Awards, which they don't even have anymore. We've only performed that record because I saw her at the airport a year and a half ago, I think. And I was like, I'm mad at you. She's like, well, I was like, you be up there with Kenny Lattimore singing our record. I said, I'd be feeling like the 5 Heartbeats. How does it feel to be me? So, yeah, I would love to perform it live. I think that would be a major, impactful event.
Okay, well, yeah, I would love to see that live too because it's just amazing. I was listening to it yesterday. Just, you know, kind of you got to get in the vibe. You know, when you about to talk to certain people, it's like, let's get in the zone real quick, you know?
I appreciate it.
And I get in the zone by listening to music. And I was just over there like singing the little ad libs and everything. You know, it's still on my playlist. I can't lie about it. It's still on my playlist, you know? And I think you guys came together and that was magic. That was magic.
That's why I would love for us to just be on stage doing it live. It's dope.
Now, you know.
Let it here alone. Trying to face another day. Gotta stay strong to endure this pain I'm dealing with right now. It flipped. No, I'm sorry. I'm just.
No, I love it though. Like I get a personal. This is a personal concert for me. I love it. And I would love for you guys to do something. So keep working that deal. Please do. Because I would love to see that. All y'all come together. Especially now. That thing would be amazing. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Okay. Now, let me tell you what else is a magical moment for you. You're coming back, or you came back because you actually haven't gone nowhere, but you coming back and you wanted to do something a little bit different with Another Night. And I
Yeah.
listened to it and I like it. I like it's a nice fun record, you know, to listen to. And it's just about wanting that person, whoever was staying with you, to stay another night.
Um,
So what was the feeling? Because I know you said you was a little hesitant at first about it. So what was that, you know, why were you hesitant about it?
because everything's so critical now. I wanted to just put out a record that felt good,
Yeah.
that you listen, you're not even really having to think about it. You just it might start smiling. I mean, I wanted to be a record you could be driving in the car, cleaning the house, at a lounge, at a bar, at a club, wherever, and it groove. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because there's such a fine line between sounding dated and sounding like I'm trying to sound quote unquote young, which I don't think being in my early 40s is old, but
Right.
in the urban community, that's how it's viewed.
Mhm.
Um, I know that that's what a lot of us artists straddle with, because then we try to come out sounding a little younger. Is, oh, he on that? If I wanted that, I can go get this. I want that usual sound I'm used to. But
Right.
then when you get that classic sound per se, is, oh, that sound dated. And it's crazy. I was talking to was it my manager or a record exec, and I was like, these same records that I might have laying around, somebody might go, oh, that sound dated. But if I go put it on a newer artist, it's like, oh, that's that classic sound I'm talking about. That's
Right.
so me. And it's just like trying to figure out my place was something that I was worried about walking in the studio. And I was like, I shouldn't think about that. Music isn't about thought. It's subjective. Everybody's not going to love it. But I like records that are growing you, because there's a record that you'll love the instant you hear it, like off top. And then you, after hearing it a few times, you're like, yeah, I'm cool. Don't play that no more. There's other records that you hear, and then all of a sudden it come on somewhere. You be like, wait a minute. What is this? Oh, this is that. Oh, I didn't even realize. Yeah, that's
Right.
actually, and that's what real R&B for me did. Like, you know what I mean? There were people would put out a song and you'd be like, oh, that's really dope. And then you hear the album and be like, wait, did you hear number three though? Number three? No, no, dog, number five. And that's what I want to bring back. Where, you know what I mean? I love the record. I think it's a great body of work, but it's literally, I've done hundreds of records, and we dialing them down. There's a record that I have. I've been waiting for Coco to send me her vocals back from SWV. So I
Mhm.
got that. I got a few other things in the pipeline. So I'm excited. I'm having fun.
No, as you should be. And I was just about to ask you, you know, because like you said, albums was the thing. I know, like right now, I don't stop. They be like, oh my God, a new album came out. I don't stop my life to get the new album like I did, you know, when CDs were the thing. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, I feel like everybody is so focused on single, single, single. But what about the actual body of work? So, with that being stated, how do you feel about that? Because, like I said, everything is all singles now. And
I think everything evolves.
mhm,
I think that we've never been here technologically per se, but there was a
mhm,
time when music was, I can't say cheapened, but it was McDonald's. It was, and I love
right,
McDonald's, but you can't eat McDonald's every day. I'll give me a fillet of fish, baby. Give me
right. You know what I'm
fillet
saying?
of
I
fish.
could give me a good old McFlurry, but not every day. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I got
So
you.
there's a balance, and the hardest thing was saying, okay, how are we doing these sold out shows and people singing every record, but we can't put out anything new? It was really because our audience isn't on social media looking for music. They're on there looking for tummy tea, some hair, some, you know what I mean, some hair bonnet. Shout out to my sis Toya. You know what I mean? So they're not necessarily looking for music. Now, if I go do something crazy, then they'll come to my page and be, oh, you got something new, but I can't do the crazy. I can't say, okay, let me do this because I got young eyes looking at me. But um, you just have to be confident in who you are and what you do. And eventually, something gonna crack. That's how I honestly feel. I feel the same way I did when I was in Minneapolis, looking out my bedroom window, thinking, wait, one day, just the right person hear this, it's over. I'm gonna make it. That's the same way I feel now. That same hunger. That's never changed.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I think that's extremely important. You know, always identifying with that hunger, because once you always identify with that hunger, the drive will never stop. You
Right.
know, so you always looking for new ways to reinvent yourself. And with you, I know with Another Night, that was the crossroad. Like, how do I reinvent myself but still stay the same, and how do I remain relevant? So what was it for you that made you say, you know what, that's it, I'm tunnel vision, I'm cutting all the external noise and internal noise out, I'm gonna do RL on this record, like it's the RL way, and I'm relevant? So what made that click in your head for you?
Well, it's funny because you used the one word that we never used with Gladys Knight, the OJs. We never said relevance.
Mm-hmm.
So relevance is people around the world hearing your music. And there's not a day that goes by that one of my records isn't played somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the relevance thing that you're talking about is the thing that I battle with. Wait, should I put this record out because this seems more now, or this seems more this?
Mm-hmm.
When we went in the studio in the past, it was always make a good record, make it feel good, make it something that can grow, that can sell a lot of records. Not, oh, well, let's make it for TikTok, which is fine. Like, so this is not a dig at anybody, but oh, well, how many YouTube views will this get? It's really about legacy. And for me, luckily, because I'm not necessarily quote unquote a starving artist, even in the times of a pandemic, I'm able to live off publishing from all the records I've written, right? Which is a blessing. And that's not a flex. I said that to say that I can go in the studio uncompromised and say, I'm gonna just do me. Because there's records that I have that no one has ever heard or might not ever hear, but I can listen to them and smile because I know that I stayed true to myself. I think that's important. That's like going on a date with a guy and you do all these things that you know you don't usually do, and he likes you. That just adds pressure because now you got to do that every time or you're going to lose it.
You got your representative up, you know? That's the
exactly.
representative. And you know your representative is only going to be around for 3 months. That's the longest that you can.
Right, but now watch this. Now, I know that now because I've been on stage singing the same records for 20-some years. I had to ask myself, okay, could I sing this record right here for another 20 years along with those records? And Another Night was one of those songs. It just, for me, it made me smile when I listened to it because you are, as a newer artist, you have to get over that point of liking how you sound on the record. Yeah. I like that run right there. I sound good. It don't matter how you sound, it's how will it impact the public? Will they feel good listening to it? Will they smile like you smiling right now in the studio? And those are the kind of thoughts that I have when I'm recording or writing a record.
And I think that's important when it comes back to the relevancy and it comes back to, you know, having or building that legacy. As you put, just building a legacy. And then once again, of course, you're going to smile. It's your record. And then, of course, like you say, you staying true to yourself. And I think that is the most important part. Because even with me, it's like, you know, you're asked to bend and do different things. It's like, nah, that ain't me. It's not me, you know?
Yeah, so you understand where you can finally like kick your feet up or relax and not have to worry about judgment, and just because it should be about the music. It should be about, okay, this feels good. I'm feeling this. And truthfully, I know guys have been in situations where they was really like, yeah, what time you about to leave? You need me to call your Uber? You know what I mean? Or it's like, why are you leaving? No, why don't you stay? Like, no, I got some sweats. You know, just wear this t-shirt. Matter of fact, I'll go get you some clothes. I'll go buy, don't leave, just don't leave. And that's what that is about.
Absolutely. And you know, I like that because it's something that people can relate to. Everybody got that person that you like, look, I don't want you to go. When you come back.
So you gotta go to work, just take the day off.
Right. You ain't gotta go work today. You good. When you come back. Wait a minute. You leaving? You coming back? You coming back?
Well, matter of fact, since it's quarantine and you working from home, just bring your computer over here. I'll be quiet. I'll be just working here.
I'm a cook.
Right. See?
You hungry? What you want to eat?
Exactly that. See?
So, and I think that's the part, like, that's the part that is so phenomenal when you're true to yourself. People can relate to you so much more because you're not doing what everybody else would love for you to do. You're doing what you would love to do, and people are resonating with what you feel. And I think that's why it's really important.
I agree. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So when can everyone hear Another Night?
Well, it's releasing March 19th. I know they debuted it in London on BBC Radio last week, which
Well,
was like a big
congratulations.
thing. Thank you. Um, yeah, it comes out the 19th. It's funny because once I do a record and, besides having to deal with mastering and mixing, I'm on to the next. So I'm actually getting ready for the next record, which will probably be Black Magic, which I'm excited about. And I'm just putting everything together, and I'm focused on Another Night like I need to because I really love it. But once you add something to your repertoire, it's time to move on and master a new move. And for me, I'm focused as I need to be on the promotion and marketing and everything I need to do. But I just want to get better. I just want to be better every time people see me. I like that. Not saying I'm Denzel or nothing, but I
Right.
really work hard taking care of myself. And when people notice, that means something. Because I do see, there's times you see artists and you be like, yo, that used to be, or wasn't it? Now, I don't want that. My daughter's 4, and
Mhm.
every day when I get up at 4:30, because I don't want to get up at 4:30, but I think of 2 numbers, 5 and 8, because I'll be 58 when my daughter graduates high school, and I still want to be able to go up to the school and they go, "Hey, Mr. RL, you know 100." You know what I'm saying? I'll be
You sound like my
44 next.
daddy. Look at you.
I'll be 44 next month, right? So I just want to be. I feel like I owe it to my audience and
Right.
to my family to be the best version of me possible.
Absolutely. You sound like my dad. My dad just loves when my friends be like, "That's your daddy."
Exactly. That's what.
Why
See.
your daddy look 30? I'm like, you need a stepmama. I said I have one. I have one. But I get it. I get it. I understand it, and that's important. That's self care. Self care, self esteem, self motivation. That all comes hand in hand. So absolutely, absolutely. So I'm excited about your new. Excited about your new single. I'm really excited about it. So I can't wait for everyone else to hear it because I already heard it. I was jamming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what I do want to talk to you about, because aside from the music, you talk about home, you talk about Minneapolis, and you always go back. You're always trying to put something back into your community. And you recently went home and talked to the police chief about change and reform. So, what was that conversation like? And what transpired from that conversation?
Well, what's funny is one of my good friends is one of the attorneys for the family of Mr. Floyd. So when everything started, everybody expected me to just run home, and I didn't want to act like I was some big activist or anything. I just wanted to use my voice the best way I could. And I know that there were really race riots. There were literally other cultures infiltrating the city, doing all the damage, and made it look like it was Black Lives Matter in our community, and it
But I think
wasn't.
that happened everywhere. To be completely fair, when you open your eyes to a lot of things, and I don't mean to cut you off or anything,
No,
but
no,
when you open your eyes to a lot of things, some of these businesses did it for themselves for the insurance check. You get
right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but with the situation in the city, at first I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I was sending money back to friends that I really didn't tell people. You know what I'm saying? So people didn't think I was doing anything. And I found out from a good friend of mine that somebody I went to high school with was literally back to back with a strap with the police chief protecting Black businesses and homes because they were coming out shooting at kids, at anybody that had skin that was the color of yours and mine, to try to cause more anxiety and more damage. So I finally snuck into the city. And at first it was supposed to be Steven Jackson is, me and him are super cool. And I've known him for years and we were supposed to go together, but he was caught up with the family. And I went and met with the police chief and we talked and I told him, I said, honestly, show me a kid that's not from a law enforcement family right now in the inner city that wants to be a cop. They're so victimized by them that you won't find it. So generationally, we're going to get more of these same kind of people that were picked on in high school that got a badge now. That now, or you bring them in from communities that don't understand our community,
right.
so they feel like we're threats. That's a lot of it. is racism, but a lot of it is ignorance and fear as well. They
Yes.
look at us as monsters because they have to come work in a community that they have no empathy and sympathy for, so they don't know what it is. I remember when I told him, I said, I remember when I was in high school, I pulled a fake strap out on this little kid, right? I was bad. And I seen the police coming up the street, so I ran into my brother's, his wife now, to their mother's house and threw the strap under the radiator. That's how old you it was a radiator. And she told though. She straight snitched on me. And told him where it was. So I was a kid, the cop puts me in the car, realizes the strap ain't real. I didn't hit the other kid. He's gone by now.
Right.
And he asked me my name. And he was like, "Oh, you're Bobby's son?" Because my first name is Robert. My dad is Robert. I was like, yeah. So he knew my dad was going to whoop my butt when I got home. I would rather have went to jail. Take me to jail. He was like, okay, and took me home. He bowled with my dad. Literally took me home. And it made me understand that all cops aren't out to get me, because my trajectory could have been totally different. They could have got me for armed robbery, attempted armed, anything. Trumped up the charges, and I wouldn't be here right now. All those opportunities that I was blessed with, I wouldn't have off of those one little incidents like that where somebody showed me grace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why my big thing for my new season is grace. So I spoke to him about that and trying to find programs to show cats that it is respectable to have a career in law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? But then I also learned things while I was there about the unions. It really wasn't even the police chief. Across the country, it's all about the police unions and how they use their power. You can't fire a cop. He says, I fired a cop before, and 2 weeks later, he's back on the force because the union got a rep and argued and fought it. And I'm talking about for abuse. And there was a guy named Robert Kroll, I think his name is, or Bob, they call it, Bob Kroll, who's retiring finally, but he was on stage with Trump. So it's like these people that are in power make it so they protect the backup, because there's a bunch of amazing, great people in law enforcement. So I spoke to him about that, and it was actually incredible. So we started having dialogue, but there's other instances like my guy who hit me when they had the press conference for George Floyd's, the mother's child, the child's mother. Mm-hmm. She had like a severely sprained ankle. I ended up calling a friend of mine, and Kevin Garnett's sister ended up calling the Timberwolves and sending a doctor over there to put her in a walking cast so she could do the press conference. It's these little things that you might not be spending $1 million, but really what it's about. And I want to leave it at this because I know I'm bantering on. My biggest thing that I want people to understand is, number one, grace. That's my biggest thing now, right? Because we have a cancel culture. I try to show people grace and give them the benefit of the doubt. Right. The second thing is utilize people, don't use them. Because it's all about relationships, everything. I can make a call. It's funny because I could call some artist that is on my level per se, and it'll take him a week to call me back. I can literally text Jamie Foxx right now, and he'll call me. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it shows me that no matter how big you are, always be consistent and always utilize, never use, because there's people that can always count on you because you know you can count on them. There are other people, when you see their name pop in your phone, you hit the volume because you don't want to hit end, because you don't want them to know you ended the call. It's always about utilizing relationships, and that's the biggest thing that I've learned in my career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that was real. I think that's commendable that you went out, used your voice, because so many people feel like, well, where are the celebrities when this happens? And I try to explain to people a lot of times, like, why do we look to celebrities to be the saving grace? That's not their job. If they take it on, it's because they consider it to be their response. That's their responsibility. But hold accountable the people that you put in office. Hold accountable your city officials, not celebrities per se. You know what I mean? But I think it's always commendable when celebrities do step up and speak out and use their voice.
Yeah, but okay, I'll give an example. I did the Feed Atlanta thing with 2 Chainz here in Atlanta, and Tony Draper. It was incredible. And Ricky Davis, a basketball player. But the only reason people knew that is because they had a camera crew and we were taping, like having fun. It wasn't about, oh, look at me, I'm doing good. I don't like that. I honestly feel like you lose when they be like, oh, so why are you telling people you did that? I know that Waka just did a video saying, why do people be taping when they giving somebody money? You taping somebody at their worst. Exactly. I don't do things for show, and I don't look at it like my celebrity can get me anywhere. I got involved because it was home, because my city was burning down, and because I didn't want anybody to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Any more people. And I want justice. I want to see how this trial, plays out. I'm watching it as well, but ain't nothing like my city. But the difference is we don't have to televise or promote and market the things we do. And I think a lot of people forget that just because you don't see doesn't mean there aren't things being done.
And I like that. And I think that's how we can close that statement there, because that's perfect. Now, you spoke about cancel culture, okay? And, when you speak of like Black Lives Matter movement, you speak of the LGBTQ community, you speak of anything these days, society is just sensitive. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as like when back then, like back in the 90s or early 2000s, where you could say things and you're not held accountable to a certain extent where everybody just wants to cancel you out. How do you feel about the cancel culture?
Well, now they will go back to a tape from 1985 and you telling a joke and it's over for you. You know what I'm saying? I honestly feel like some people are being judged. Yesterday's actions are being judged by today's rules and morals. And I don't think that's fair. I do think that, like, I remember I would watch Empire. Yeah. I was like, wow, this dope. All of a sudden I see Jamal tonguing somebody down. I'm like, whoa, I think it's Jamal. I'm like, what's going on here? But then I had to realize the same way that I felt not seeing people that look like me on TV growing up is the same way some kid that just happens to be, gay or lesbian in some small town in Alabama or something that couldn't be themselves, that, were scared because their parents or whatever. They couldn't be who they're told, oh, I'm going to go to hell because I love somebody. They're born that way. So now when you get people in power, like a Lee Daniels or something like that, it's dope that they're going to shine light. Like, look, this you shouldn't be uncomfortable. You're only uncomfortable because you're not used to this. You should be used to seeing love. Love is love. And I had to understand it. It's about retraining your thought process.
Right.
And growing, because it's funny, Lloyd is like a little brother to me. And he was like, and I always say that somebody told him, man, you changed. And he looked at him and was like, man, you didn't. You know what I'm saying? So I want to grow. I am scared. I'm scared of Black Twitter. I'm scared of cancel culture, because people will try to decipher things you said and attack you. Mm-hmm. And that's why it should be about grace. I remember when, I would do something wrong. We were on tour with Frankie Beverly Mays, the OJs, and Gerald Levert. Now, we was fresh off Too Close. We on stage, AARP crowd, taking our shirts off, probably dropping our pants. I'm talking about we wilding, right?
Right.
Papa Eddie came in that dressing room and was like, listen, I'm getting complaints, y'all. Let me explain something to y'all. He didn't belittle us. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a hell of a show. You have to know your audience. So the OGs would teach us, but we had to also be open to learning. Like, look, you can do that, just not here. There's a time and a place for everything, and that's how you become better. I honestly feel like, correct me, but correct me with grace and let me improve. Don't throw me away and be like, oh, it's over. Because I'll use Kanye as an example, and I know that Kanye's crew said, and maybe I'm privy to conversations that others aren't, but Kanye was like, look, I let the world throw me under the bus, but I put on that MAGA hat and went and sat in front of that man to get that nice lady out of jail. That's exactly what he said. Now, do I think that Kanye can do some crazy? Yes, I do. Make crazy statements? Oh, of course. Some of that I think is, some of that's from the Kris Jenner clan, I think, where, because it works. But we always judge before we see the results.
The results.
And I think that's also because of how we've been beaten down and battered. But
I agree.
We have to show each other the same grace we complain about that others don't show us.
And I agree with that. And going back to Kanye, because I talk about Kanye a lot, I feel like when it comes to Kanye, because, we quick to cancel him, but then say, oh, we love you. And that part throws me off. It throws me off completely. It's like, do we love him or do we not? Like, what's going on? Because today we canceled him, tomorrow we gonna love him. He the best thing ever. Like I just
his new shoes come out
right
Saturday, and they gonna be getting them too.
You know, his new shoes came out and they sold out less than an hour. You know what I'm saying?
I tried to get them. I know.
You know, so I'm like, come on now. You know, I feel as though what it is and what I, you know, have conversations, just in conversations in general, so many conversations from the Black Lives Matter movement to the mega situation to, you know, to LGBTQ community. Like, it's so many conversations. But the problem is that people have to listen to understand. Not listen and get offensive, because everybody does not think like you. Everybody's perspective is different from yours. You know what I mean? So the problem is some people, like you said, show me the grace because I may just not be as educated on the subject matter. So I'm speaking off of what I know, and therefore you're coming at me with a different fact to change the perspective.
Right? Because listen, there are white people in a trailer park somewhere that only see Black people on TV, and they see videos, pants hanging low, pouring champagne, gold teeth, and they think that's every Black person.
Every Black
person. They might have one Black person in the town. Oh, that's Leroy. He been fixing cars for years. He's not like the rest of them. Not knowing that all of them just like you. Just like I don't look at a white person and go, oh, you live in a trailer park and you cook meth too? You know what I mean? I don't think that, but
exactly.
a lot of it's ignorance to me. I think it's ignorance. And I think that if we came together and communicated more and had more dialogue, a lot of these instances wouldn't even be happening.
Wouldn't be happening at all, you know, and it's so ironic, you know, about everything. And we'll talk about it another day, another time. But I'm just saying, I think that a lot of things are because people are so closed-minded and don't want to understand someone else's perspective.
True.
If you got to be willing to understand somebody's perspective. And I say all the time, like, for real, I actually like having conversations with people who have different views than me. I like having conversations with people who come from different areas than I come from, because I'll have a general understanding of the way that you think.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's how you grow, you know, surrounding yourself with people who do not think like you, who do not act like you, who do not look like you. And therefore, you know, you can learn different things. You can learn how to, you know, build your credit. You can learn like how to play around with credit based on who you around.
I think that's what college was for a lot of people. And for me, it was funny because it took me a long time to realize this. Like, I would rush to go home, but then I'd be so quick to be ready to leave because there were so many people that didn't realize the world wasn't like my neighborhood. Like every place ain't like it. There's so many different things to explore. And I think college provided that for a lot of people because they were around other people from different places. Even if it's an HBCU, you're still around, you know, somebody from the big city, somebody from Philly, somebody from New York, somebody from LA. And now you get to see
it was around different cultures.
Exactly. And how they were brought up. I think that we need to have some type of hood foreign exchange system. When you move here for a semester, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the only way we're gonna grow.
Absolutely. And I say that speaking about college experience, I was actually having a conversation the other day, and me and this person just started, you know, just talking, because I went to Delaware State first. Okay. And then I transferred from Delaware State to Old Dominion University. So from going from a HBCU to a PWI, it was so different, a whole different experience. Okay. But the beautiful part that I loved about it was the fact that, you know, HBCU, I loved it. I loved it. Like, I sometimes be like, damn, why didn't I go back? Like, you know, sometimes I really feel like that. Right. But for the ODU experience, it was super cool because I remember being in the CAF one day, and and I'm sitting talking to a young man somebody who was white. I'm talking to a young lady from Nigeria. I'm the Black girl from the hood, you know. You know, I'm talking to it was a young lady from Pakistan, and if I'm not mistaken, it was one more person, and he was just a different culture, probably from India, if I'm not mistaken. We all sat there and was really talking about systematic oppression from our different viewpoints. No one got upset, no one got heated. The conversation no one got offended.
Wow.
No one was. It was just an open dialogue. you know, for us to really be ourselves and talk about our experiences. So even if this person came from this neighborhood, or that person grew up to not like the color of my skin,
We share
I was
perspective.
there to change that narrative for you so you
Right.
can look at other people in a different way than how you were raised to look at other people in a different way. You know, you're raised to look like, you know, we if over here, it's so ironic because I have, you know, friends from Africa, and you it's funny because over here it's like Africa is like, oh, 10 cents a day, you know, 10 cents a day. That's what they show us. And I'm like, but that's not Africa.
Cause they
Because I know
balling over there.
that
They balling.
balling. I'm like, that's not Africa. Africa's luxury car is a Range Rover. Like, I mean, their average car is a Range Rover, where ours is a Nissan or a Toyota. Come on now. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. So it was really refreshing to be able to sit there and have that conversation. Where going back to Clubhouse, I'm having a conversation with Clubhouse, and it was Black women, Black men having a conversation about how, you know, we don't understand each other. And when I tell you, they couldn't even get to the point because everyone was getting so offended about, well, you're saying that this is the Black woman's experience, but you don't understand the Black man's experience, and da da da. I mean, going back and forth. And I'm just like, I chimed in because I really wanted to hear perspectives. And I chimed in. I'm like, here's the issue. Nobody's sitting here trying to understand this Black man's point of view or this Black woman's point of view. What you're doing is you're listening and getting offended because you're making it about you, when that may not even be your experience or how you may have treated a woman or a man at one point. That may not have been the case. But
yeah, I've been in some of those rooms, and it's like people are not listening. They're waiting to speak. They're thinking about what they want to say when somebody else is speaking. So you want constructive conversation, and you've experienced so many different cultures and different people that you have an understanding and an empathy for other dynamics, how other people feel, their views. And I think that if we all had that, it'd be different, because we want that from other cultures, mainly, you know, white folks, but we don't give it to each other.
Exactly. And you gotta, like you said, extend the grace first. Right. You gotta extend the grace for somebody to extend their grace. And even if they don't, just extend the grace. Be like, okay, this person just not open, or they just don't know no better, and walk away.
Right. Okay, I tried. I did my best.
You know, I did my due diligence. That's about all I can say to you, you know? So that's that. Now, here's something that you mentioned earlier in our conversation. And after this, I'm gonna let you go because we didn't wrap it up, and I enjoyed this conversation too. Okay.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. But you had Prince sitting in your living room, okay? Prince knew your grandmama. That's some legendary-ish for you, okay? That's legendary.
I'm gonna be honest. I used to think my mom was gassing me, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, mom. And I remember growing up, and kids were really cruel to me. You know, it wasn't cool to be a singer when I was coming up or trying to be a singer. So I used to say, one day people gonna say they went to school with me. You know what I mean? One day people gonna tell their kids. So one day I'm outside of a club, because I used to go to the club. They would have cones in the front so I could park. And I was sitting on the hood of I think it was my G-Wagon, just so I could watch all the people in line that would laugh at me. Like, I wouldn't say nothing, but I would watch them. And then they're out in the cold. I might, you know, jump out and go in and, you know, grab a water, come back out, just to show them, like, look, I can go back and forth. Like, it was really I was kind of, you know what I mean? Because I was bitter. I was bitter a little bit, right?
Right.
So one day I'm outside the club and I see this car and there's, you know, somebody in the back seat. I'm like, yo, that's Prince. So I walk up to the car and I'm nervous, right? So I'm stuttering. I'm like, I'm trying to introduce myself. And he goes, I know exactly who you are. You're Tony's son. So now I'm like, yo, because I knew my mom was in Purple Rain. Wasn't like no major scene, but I remember used to brag and pull out the pay stub or whatever.
Right.
And I remember they're saying, no, because our streets are alphabetical. So my grandmother grew up my grandma's house was on Russell. His mother's house was on Queens. So it was QR. So it was like right the street over. So I knew they used to be like, you know, he used to be over here all the time with your uncle, you know, eating and hanging out. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Sure, Purple Rain, whatever. But I was like, I would love to work with you. And he was like, as long as it's without them. And I thought he meant my group members. And I'm
Right.
gonna be honest, I was gonna throw them way under the bus, under the wheel. Like, okay. And
You was
he was
gonna
like,
leave
no.
them
He was like, the labels, and roll up his window and
and
told the driver to drive off. So I'm like, dude, don't rock with me. Literally a week later was my first of maybe 3 or 4 invites to Paisley Park, where he would just have jam sessions. He would just have people there, drinks, food, and just be rocking out on stage, trying out songs and having fun. So indirectly, he's how we got signed, because we had a show opening up for Aaliyah at Glam Slam, which was his club, on a Friday night. Saturday night, Naughty by Nature was performing at First Avenue, which is where they take Purple Rain.
Right.
So I'm looking for my group members. They're late for sound check. They're at the Mall of America getting wardrobe, and they run into KG from Naughty by Nature. I didn't know that. They sneak them our demo tape that we weren't supposed to give them. We do the show that night. The next day, we go to the Naughty concert. Well, he had our tape, and KG asks Brother Jules, who was the DJ for the new Power Generation, Prince's DJ, who was the dope talent in the city. He looks down and sees our demo tape, and he goes, that's the dopest you'll ever find. K picks the tape up, puts it in his pocket. Within weeks, we're flown out to New York, and we're at the what is that famous place called where they do the talent shows in New York? What is it called? It's,
Apollo.
We were at the Apollo. So indirectly, his crew is why we even were discovered. So it's super crazy, super cool.
That's amazing, and that's a beautiful memory to have of Prince. A beautiful memory, because I was gonna ask you, what was one of the fondest memories you have of him? But you straight to the point. Look, this is the memory, boy.
Yeah, he played me, I thought, because he was like the labels, and just hit the window and was like, tapped his driver. He didn't even hit me with the deuces. It was just pew, and I was like,
I'm mad that you was gonna throw your members under the bus. Like, all right, well, look, they could go.
That was just, I would have went to the studio. That was just to do like a record or two. You know what I'm saying? Love you guys. Listen, Tweet Tilo, look, hey, but we talking Roger Nelson, okay?
Absolutely. That is so funny. Well, you know what, RL, this has been an enjoyable conversation.
This has been a blessing. This has been, and that's exactly what it is. It's a conversation, and it was amazing. It's enlightening, insightful. You are amazing. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. Definitely thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of your time. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. All right.
All right. You take care. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.